To be perfectly honest, I have way too many notes for this episode. There will.
This is the starting episode.
I know, and I think that's what it is going to be.
Episode.
Instead of having it be just like a lost episode or like a scratch episode or whatever, I want this to be an identity episode. So what this is going to be is we're going to call this the pilot.
I don't have any notes.
Me either. I'm just here.
I got no notes.
Just showed up.
We're no-noting it today.
I'm literally sitting. I got 3 monitors on, and I have 2 things on the screen. I'm looking at nothing. Staring at nothing.
Well, that's okay for today.
I just wasn't prepared.
I mean, well, okay, that's fair enough.
I was prepared, and I still got nothing.
At least you own up to it. If you guys are ready, I'll hit the proverbial bottle on the ship, and we'll get this party started.
Yeah, smash it up, man.
All right. I don't know how to start.
I have to do that too.
I mean, you can. Okay, so here we go. Take 1. Hello, everyone. Who started laughing?
It was me because of the silence. I didn't know what to do.
Just about to do my intro here, and we got, well, now this is the intro. This is the proverbial intro that we got going on here. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of a brand new audio adventure we have today. This is a podcast from yours truly. My name is Aaron, and I am joined today by 2 of my greatest friends in the world. We have Billy over here on the right.
Hello, hello.
And we have Eric over here on the left.
Hello. Hey, I'm glad I'm on the left too. I like being on the left.
Yeah, you're left-handed. It's only appropriate.
Exactly.
I got everybody covered here. So for this first pilot episode, I figured we'd start things off a little bit tame, if you will. We'll just kind of ease the audience in. We'll ease us in just on a nice Sunday afternoon. So we're just going to be talking about a couple different things. We're going to be talking about how did we meet, the 3 of us in particular, me meeting each of you individually. We'll go on to some current events and then kind of some current stories just to get everybody eased into the format of the podcast and stuff. So specifically speaking, I have known Eric the longest here. Eric and I actually went to school together when we were wee little lads. You went to since kindergarten, right, Eric?
Yeah, the entire time.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. Because you and I, we really didn't become like great friends until like senior year in high school.
Yeah, until later.
It was a very, very long time. But hey, it all worked out in the end. So that's all that matters.
Mm.
And Bill, I've known you since, I want to say it's the fall of 2006.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It does sound right. Yeah.
Eric was there. He was behind
I was
the
almost
scenes.
going to say 2005, but I think 2006 is probably more accurate.
Because Vinny and I started playing Killzone Online in, I think it was October of 2006. That was when we got those PS2 online discs that you had to like shove in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And
You had to get that adapter at the store to like screw on the back of the system too.
Yeah, it went on the back.
Yeah, and that was when we started our online gaming adventure. And then you and I met shortly after. And I don't know if you remember this, Bill, but back in the day on Killzone, when we used to play together, I had a different gamer tag than the one I have now. The one that I use now is Enigma, but back then I used to go by Black Wolf. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when I switched my gamer tag to Enigma, you said to me, "Oh, who's this guy?" Because I think we were playing with Chris, and Chris said, "Oh, that's Aaron. That's Black Wolf." And you were like, "Damn, that's a nice gamer tag. I wish I thought of that."
Right. Yeah, I was all bummed out.
You could have taken Enigma out from under me and just killed my future brand.
I never had anything creative with I started playing Killzone the latter half of 2004 into 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I met Chris. And then I never really had any creative gamer tags or anything. It's always been Billiam, which was like a nickname that some kid gave me at Bible camp. No, it was like not Bible camp. It was like a Bible, I don't know, it was something with a fucking Bible. But anyway, somebody gave me the name and it kind of stuck. And then I remember on Killzone, remember you could just make new accounts. Like you didn't have to do any kind of verification. It was just very like single sign on. You could make a new name every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I had some made if I was like, ringing for another team or something, but it's always been this Billiam name.
Actually, a side story from that too. I had actually made it was going to be like my perfect account on Killzone. I think it was named Reborn. And I used to chat with myself because Killzone, you used to be able to have like those chat text lobbies in the beginning before you would join into the multiplayer servers. So I was chatting as myself, talking to myself, being like, "Oh man, you're so good at this game. How did you get so good?"
Oh, you would have both in the same lobby.
I would have both going, and I would hype myself up. I'd be like, "Oh man, I just got my ass kicked by this Reborn guy. Like, what the hell?"
Real cool guy.
Yeah, you got to hype yourself up occasionally.
and that was your perfect, like, once you were really good at the game, that was your account that you were using. Was that the idea?
Yeah, because Killzone used to have a very innovative system, and I've never seen any other game have something like this where you could rank up and rank down, and wherever your stats would fall, because it would factor in everything. It would factor in win-loss, kill death.
And it would update mid-game, too. Like, you could rank down in a game.
Yeah, so it was kind of like ranked playlists in video games nowadays that people, complain about so much, but it was way back in the day. And I feel like it was implemented incredibly. And it was cool because they had it set up kind of like a military ranking. So you had like Brigadier General, you had General, there was like a 3-star, and each progressive badge, as you would rank up, it would become like a cooler looking badge. And so this was just my account. If I needed to have, like if my stats were getting kind of low or it was kind of like a pseudo booster account. But then I was just like, man, it'd be cooler to have like a perfect account. So like, let me just get this ranked up.
Right. Remember,
I actually had a very similar thing. Sorry to cut you off, Bill.
Please do.
With Call of Duty 4, like originally I was playing on my standard account and I was pretty trash, but then I just got really good at it. And I was like, well, I can't have all these bad stats attached to my name. So
God, no.
So I had to make another account, and I was dropping like 3s on there all the time. I was like, yes, this is an awesome account.
Was your like new account, was that the silent failure account?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it because that was the one. Didn't you originally set up like to get around some region lock that they had on the PS Store, and it was like a Japanese account?
Oh, that was, I had another account specifically like based out of Japan, so I could go to the Japanese store and download random things from there.
I actually thought that was the silent failure account. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was serious back then.
The three of us met in particular, and I love to tell this story. Erick's heard it recently, but Bill, you've also heard it. I don't know when the last time you heard it was, but Bill, do you remember specifically when the three of us met for the first time?
I really don't. And I know that's like really shitty to say, but I know it's come up now within the last couple of years. Like, I think it came up when we were playing Fortnite.
Yeah, it probably did.
And I had like zero recollection of it at all. And I remember being like, wait, you're telling me that I knew Erick like years before, and it was like a full like epiphany moment. So I don't.
I'll lay it on you then. Yeah, like I said, Erick's heard this story a ton, but basically the way that the three of us met was we used to all play, obviously, Killzone back in the day. We started talking, and eventually there was a sequel that came out, Killzone 2. And this came out much later. The original one was on the PS2. The first sequel, Killzone 2, came out on the PS3. And we were playing a multiplayer game of Killzone 2. And Bill, you and I were originally scheduled to like play that afternoon. And then Erick was on. So I invited him to the party. And you were so offended. Like, you did not like Erick because he was encroaching in on our time.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You carried like this.
That all checks out.
It was like this attitude, like, oh, what the fuck is this guy doing here? Sort of deal.
Well, I obviously I was much younger then, but like I'll still catch myself like being not necessarily like put out. I'm just like annoyed. So this whole thing that I was talking to you about Rust, like we were all gearing up to play on a Sunday. And Derek was like, well, server's up, so I'm going to play on that this week. And I was just like, all right, I guess I'll just go fuck myself then.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, so I'll still get annoyed.
Well, at the very least, in this case, it's not like that annoyance lasted long. But the funny thing was, we met all those years ago, like the three of us as a particular group. And then I don't think you two in particular would directly talk again until like almost a decade later when we were playing Fortnite.
No way. Bill and I never played together at all.
No.
So
Zero interaction.
We still don't really. I mean,
Not anymore.
I mean, one day it was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with Fortnite. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and then I just disappeared.
I just recently deleted the spreadsheet, by the way, not to rehash.
Oh, that's so sad. Oh, for those of you that don't know, there were four of us. It was me, Eric, Bill, and Chris that would play Fortnite as a squad, and we would keep a spreadsheet of all of our wins, where we would drop, who had particular kills and stuff. And as the spreadsheet grew older, it just became a shit show. Like you and I always had different numbers. Like we were like, wait, how many wins do you have? And then we had to figure out who played when the other person didn't, and how many kills did we really have. And
for a brief period, I thought it was a really, really fun experience and a way to wind down my workday.
Yeah, it was great.
Great.
Yeah, it was great keeping. I still have the spreadsheet for season, or no, whatever they called was it chapter 2? Fortnite chapter 2, right?
Chapter.
Yeah.
That was the restart thing.
Yeah, I still have the chapter 2 season 1 spreadsheet on my MacBook. And then I think I have like a lot of the older stats I just used to keep as a note file on my phone, which was the most janky way to do it. And I still have it. I refuse to delete them because they were good times, but that leads into probably the funniest moment that the three of us have had together, and probably honestly ever will have together. Both of you have recently seen the video again, so you'll know where I'm going to segue into.
Yeah, the boat incident.
The boat incident. So for those of you, I don't exactly know how the podcast is going to work in terms of media share and stuff. Like, obviously this is an audio podcast, so it's not like I'm going to read out a link over the airwaves of this podcast, but maybe if certain sites have like a link dump, or on I'm going to get a Discord going for the show. I'm going to have I already have an Instagram and a Twitter and stuff. So I guess I'm going to post links and stuff and photos to there for things that we reference. But I'm going to post a link to this video so people can look at it. The three of us and our other friend Chris, on the first night that we were playing Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1, had words can't do it justice. It's just the most batshit crazy thing that has ever happened to us playing video games. And I managed to get it on video, and it's just a comedy of errors. It is unbelievably funny.
It's just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah,
And like everything about that video is just perfect. Everything that was happening. Right
My
off
favorite
the bat, Bill is saying, all right, we should just reset. We should just go back to the lobby.
I remember having watched it again recently. One of my favorite subtle parts is I think Eric actually asks who's driving.
Oh, he does.
Before he
I like driving. Scream it. Who's driving this
driving.
thing? And then I'm sitting in the driver's seat.
Oh, I'm driving. And then that just kicks you start laughing. And then I'm laughing because you're laughing and because of the absurdity. Meanwhile, here I am. I got down, so I'm crawling around in the water. And Chris just picks me up on his shoulders on the boat.
So annoying.
And just got... Bill is still upset
So
to
annoying.
this day.
I just don't understand the logic.
Throw him on the boat.
It was one of those things where we couldn't have planned it more perfectly. Like if we had a script,
Right.
we couldn't have executed it that good. It just wouldn't have been that good. Oh, but I encourage everybody to go check out that video if you're not sure what the hell we're talking about. You will definitely laugh. I'm very confident. Even if you don't like Fortnite, you don't have to like Fortnite to like
Not
this
at all.
video.
There's
It's just
actually very
fantastic.
little actual Fortnite in anyway.
Yeah, actually, it's just that situation that happens, and it's a good time.
The only thing that's Fortnite about it is the beginning where we're all looting and stuff, and Chris is running me over with a
Oh
boat,
my god.
and he left you behind. You're just swimming in the water, and he drives past you.
Drives
Those are
right
probably
by.
Those are probably the only Fortnite clips about that Fortnite video.
And then I get shot out of the boat too.
Yeah, perfect headshot. Classic Bill.
I don't even care.
This is fantastic. Oh my god. But so that kind of, like I said, it would lead to a perfect segue into this. So I wanted to just talk about like current events, like what we have going on in our lives right now. Obviously, for those of you that may not know, if you're from, my more personal circle, or if you're more from Bill's circle, you may already know. But Bill, you're actually streaming these days, and you've been on it for, what is it, a 9-month grind already?
I guess technically it would be more than I've been affiliated on Twitch for 9 months.
Okay, but the journey has actually been longer.
Yeah, I think it took me 7 days to get affiliated. I only need the first week. Thanks to
when is the,
a lot of you guys.
Baby due?
Later tonight.
Oh.
Wait, what? The baby?
Because I've been on Twitch for 9 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was completely oblivious to that. That was a fantastic joke, Eric.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. I mean, it's had its ups and downs. The affiliation part, and I do, I thank you guys majorly for it, because some of those early streams when I needed the average, you guys would just tab it up or whatever. And now we started that community Discord channel between me and that other guy from the UK. And it's been interesting. I mean, there's been streams that I'm like not happy with. And then there's, some nights like on Thursday, now that I have the ice bucket out and stuff like that, and I'm in the robe, and it's just like a whole vibe. And now there's a couple people that, without mentioning their names specifically, like, I'll get a DM on Twitter or something on Discord and saying like, looking forward to the stream on Tuesday or Thursday. And, that just makes every little bit worth it. It's been a blast, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. Definitely. To have somebody like that be like, hey, I can't wait to chill in your chat again and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That reminds me, because for those of you that don't know anything about like my creative outlets, I've been doing YouTube off and on for this will be 8 years. It's been over 7 years now, but I've been making videos for even longer because we had started up the channel, which I'll bleep that out because like I said, anything will be bleeped that is privacy or could be anything like that. And if you guys specifically
the bleep channel,
exactly. So that way we can maintain privacy and stuff here. But we started that channel before I even started mine. And those videos still exist. Like they're still buried in the tombs of YouTube. Like if you go searching for them, you'll find them. But yeah, I remember like back in the day, I used to have the same thing where I had that one guy specifically. I think his real name was, and he would watch every single one of my videos. He would comment on every single one of my videos. He made me. It was a board, like it was a 2x4 board essentially in his technology class. And he carved out my channel name in it and he painted it. He asked me like what my favorite colors were and stuff, did all sorts of designs and sent it to me. Yeah. I still have it.
I remember seeing that. Was it like a wood burning or it was pieces of wood that spelled out Enigma?
Actually, now that you mentioned wood burning, it could be that.
Yeah, like I thought he burned the letters into the wood and then it was all painted.
You could be right on that. Because it's been so many years since I've looked at it and since the story came of old. That's at least it's at least 5 or 6 years ago already, which I can't even believe. But yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about, Bill, where you get those messages and people, who you don't know and who you'll never meet are just like, yeah, I'm digging your stuff. Like I want to.
It's been interesting too, because like, especially for instance, like Thursday, most recently, it was an amazing stream. And I haven't had like a lot of hype trains, and the last 2 streams I've had these crazy, level 3 or level 4 hype trains. And then like, I put so much pressure on, winning in Warzone or whatever, that I sometimes like lose sight of like everybody's actually having a good time. And then like, I'll get a message that says, hey, that was awesome today. Thanks. The message said, thanks for streaming for us.
Yeah.
And it kind of was just like, God, like I was feeling like shit about the gameplay. And then I just got to realize like maybe somebody, and I can't believe that, but maybe somebody is going to work on Thursday and they're like, oh, it's Thursday. At least for that 2.5 to 3 hours, I can maybe watch Bill's stream and it'll make my day or something like that. Not to say that it does, but
yeah, but they're
I've been trying to understand that more.
They're looking forward to that Thirsty Thursday. They
Right.
want to see you in your robe.
Yeah, rum and robes.
Yeah, rum and rose. And it's been, I don't know, it's been something.
Yeah, I mean, even if, yeah, you're tryharding a lot, right? You're trying to win these games and stuff. And even if it's not
Right.
going well, chat's usually having a good time. So,
Yeah, and I'm trying to get better about realizing that.
And I mean, you always do a good job of interacting with chat. Like, I've had different people over the years that I know, whether it be in real life or just virtually speaking, and I've tuned into their content where, you know, they do a nice job of engaging chat, but you're always on top of it. You always manage very well, probably better than anybody else I've ever seen. Like, you're on the level of a professional streamer who does it for a living, who's able to like, oh, thanks for, you know, the comment, or like somebody will ask you a question and you'll answer, and then you'll just go right back to slaying fools for like a couple of minutes, and then you're like, all right, let's just get like
Oh my God,
caught up on everything.
guys. Oh my God. No, but I mean, Derek, who is, I mean, both of you, I think, have met Derek, but when he was like, if you're going to do this, like, watch some of your favorite people and like, don't half-ass it. Like, whether there's one person, 50 people in chat, 10,000 people in chat, like, pretend you're doing this for, you know, 1 million people. And then that way, you know, you uphold appearances, because if somebody new comes in from the recommended page and, you know, they're just kind of bounce around, you might get 30 seconds before they're just like, all right, I'm out. So, you know, it's good to not only welcome them, but also some of the people in chat have started to, you know, embrace those new people as well. But I'm trying to get better every day, because it is hard. It's really difficult to play it like a top level and then still focus and read all of that information and still communicate with everybody on the screen.
Oh, it's brutal.
So it's been difficult, to say the least.
It's hard enough, like, you know, when I'm making YouTube videos, like, for example, I'll use an example recently, because Erick is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Erick and Dan and I, another one of our friends who, you know, we went to school with for years, we'll be playing Hunt Showdown, which is kind of like a mixture of a battle royale like Fortnite, but it's also mixed with like kind of like just your PvE style video games where there's there's AI enemies to fight, but at the same time you're in a server with other real world people that are all going after the same objective, which is to kill a boss, take the 2 bounties that drop from killing that boss, and extract them on the map, like from a drop point, with your lives intact and stuff. So I'm not even live streaming, and there are just moments where like I'll be commentating over the gameplay, or we'll be, you know, sharing a story or whatever, and it's just like we're quiet for like 30 seconds because we're listening for footsteps, we're seeing where people are, we're trying to land our shots, and I'm not even engaging with a live chat, where here you are like interacting with, essentially like you're doing like a virtual TED talk while you're gaming.
Right.
And you just have all these people that are hanging on your word and your entertainment value, and you're just like, gotta slay it out. Here we go, boys.
Yeah, I did set up, like, I had a conversation with a lot of the moderators in the channel, and I was like, full honest opinion, tell me if this is like a dick move, but I set up that command of it's just locked, like I'm locked out. And, you know, if I'm going into Circle 5 or something, and, you know, let's say we haven't won a game on the stream, and like I'm fucking, you know, dripping practically trying to get it. You know, I told them, like, just run this command. That way, if somebody new does come in, you know, just know I'm not ignoring you, but, you know, I'm trying to get that win counter. I'm trying to get those stats up, homeboy.
Just focused.
So, yeah. So like that has started to help. And in the early days, I would like apologize. Like, I'm sorry if I miss anything right now. And people started to kind of give it back to me. Like, we're here to watch you, is to do whatever you got to do. That's been helpful. And
the other reason why I bring that up too is because you texted me something, what was it? Probably like a week or so ago now, which just blew my fucking mind. You texted me a picture of what I would assume to be your monitor, just like a close up. And it was of your gamer tag and a few other people you were playing with. And you just casually dropped, yeah, I'm playing Warzone with Bubba Wallace, the NASCAR driver.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how did you get that connection? And then, of course, it's just through, you know, mutual people that you know, like Billy, for those of you that don't know, it has been heavily invested, I guess is the proper term, in the music scene
Sure.
And down where he lives, it's like a big area for not necessarily just live music, but there's a lot of bands of different genres.
Outlets.
Yeah, and more specifically, like a specific genre down there. And Bill has connections with, you know, all sorts of bands. I don't know. Do you think they'd mind if I?
Not at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say he knows people in ABR, August Burns Red. He's been on tour. He's been in bands himself, and he's been a touring manager for a long time, which I'm sure we're gonna get stories about. Yeah, we're gonna get stories about that on the podcast. Don't you worry. But you just know all these people, and the guy who's the actual photographer for August Burns Red, like the touring photographer and stuff, Ray, he knows Bubba.
So essentially, and that's kind of how a lot of these things work. And the reason I texted you first was like, all right, I guess I'll text my dad this, watches NASCAR. And I was like, who watches NASCAR? I was like, oh.
Yeah, you got me.
NASCAR. My boy.
So there's like a subset of athletes, whether or not it's, you know, racing, or there's a couple baseball players, a couple football players who are kind of against the grain and they listen to metal, I guess. And I guess Bubba is a huge fan of ABR.
Yeah.
And through that process, you know, they'll have him out to shows or whatever when they're down in Charlotte area. And I knew that Ray was a little bit more casual with him. Like they, you know, play Call of Duty together. Probably just one of those things like, oh, you play? Awesome. I play. Let's link up. And so one day I was wrapping up work to get on. It was a stream day and I was getting on to warm up. And usually I know in the afternoon, Ray will be on because he's on the West Coast and I'll catch a couple games. And I've been trying to get this, playing with him was kind of on the docket for a while. We were going to try and set up a stream where Dustin was there, Bubba was there, you know, and get somebody else, but we just couldn't get the dates right. And then I just got on randomly and he was in the party. And it was just like that moment of like, hey, I'm Billy, I'm good friends with Ray, Dustin, all those guys. And, yeah, pretty cool. I mean, after we played, the next time that I got on, he had sent me a friend request, which is like, awesome. We played just me and him the other night after the stream, and I admittedly had been lost in the sauce for some time. but he sent me an invite at like 1:30 in the morning, and it was me, him, and like two of his boys. I could tell it was like his real life boys. But it's been fun. You definitely meet some people.
Oh yeah, well yeah. It's funny to me too because you're kind of like a Renaissance man in that you're a jack of all trades. So like not only are you capable of like having these conversations and being like a personable and funny dude, but you also slay at video games, which like somebody in Bubba's shoes, who's just looking for chill people to play with that are good at the game so he can get a dub and win. Like you're the perfect recipe.
Yeah, he's probably impressed. He's like, damn, Bill's awesome. I need to play with him more.
I was like, I texted Derek and I said, like, I don't know how to say this, but like, I'm playing Call of Duty with Bubba Wallace. And I did want to make the joke of like, I always drop the joke, like this kid's, that kid didn't know what he was doing. He's using the NASCAR wheel and pedals. And I was like, of course. Don't you fucking say it. Don't you say it once.
Now is not the time.
And Derek was like, how is he? And I was like, he's actually not bad. Like, he's really good too. And that shouldn't be surprising, but I guess you kind of think like somebody who has that much of an investment in something else to that high of a level, like there's no higher than that.
Yeah.
So like in my mind, like this dude doesn't have, the hours to put into playing Call of Duty to, be at least above like a bot level. I was just like, all right, it's cool. The dude wound up the one game, he dropped like 20 kills in like the first drop. And I was like, right around, I didn't know what was going on. Like, you're telling me he's good too? Like,
this is their off season. Like NASCAR is always done from like the middle to end of November until the like beginning of February, because that's when the testing kicks up at Daytona and stuff. So right now is that perfect storm time for him to have more time to play video games and stuff. And I don't know Bubba personally, like, you do. But
sure. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even go that far, but
I know he's got a girl. I don't know if they're engaged, but they've been long time dating.
It's his girlfriend, as far as I understand.
Oh, okay, yeah, Amanda, I know her name is. But I know that they travel. Like he's gone to so many different trips. He goes on trips he's good friends with Ryan Blaney, another NASCAR driver.
Yeah, I
love Ryan. Ryan's one of my favorite drivers. Just in case you somehow hear this, Ryan or Bubba, I love you too. But yeah, I know that like they'll always go to these shows or take these trips or whatever. And it's always so funny because Blaney does this thing where at the start of a NASCAR season, he'll get like a clean haircut and like a clean shave. And then by the end of the season, he's got like these like long, luscious locks going and like a full on beard or mustache or whatever. And Bubba doesn't do any of that. Bubba's always like clean, he's clean shaven. Like, but it's always just funny to see like their adventures throughout the year, because you can progressively see, oh, this was near the beginning of the year because Ryan's got short hair and no beard or whatever. And then by the end of it, he looks like just, I don't know, like somebody you'd see at like a local peewee hockey game and like,
yelling at the referee.
Yeah.
That's not offsides.
But I do have some things, I was going to say, I do have some things that I'm trying to organize coming up with some more on the music side. A lot of the guys that are, for all intents and purposes, out of work, quote unquote, because they can't tour. A lot of them have taken up streaming, whether it is, just sitting and playing through their set list, or some of them have got into gaming. I'm setting some of that up here soon. I have a couple things up my sleeve.
With that regard, with what you just said, Bill, I actually just saw that Claudio, the lead singer for Coheed and Cambria, he was streaming the past couple like weeks too, every few days. I was like, oh, cool, I'll throw him a follow.
I didn't know that he streamed. That's really cool.
Yeah, he just started.
What's he do? Does he play guitar, or what is his?
No, he's playing like Call of Duty, Cyberpunk. He's just playing games.
That's really that's tight.
It's funny, Bill, because I don't know how many people and for people that aren't aware, just in case of the genre of bands that we're talking about, the three of us are pretty big fans of metal/metalcore or post-hardcore. There's a bunch of different genres that can kind of seamlessly blend into one another.
Right.
But and now I'm probably going to get people with torches and pitchforks coming after me for saying that. But I don't know how many people within the scene that do stream now or whatever, but specifically Eric and I, and you probably love the band too, but Eric and I go back and forth about them all the time. Silent Planet, the lead singer Garrett, he's been streaming a lot more since lockdown started and stuff. And mostly he'll just be doing like either Fall Guys streams or just music streams or whatever. And he's been teasing so much of their new album, like just different songs. I think he's put out 3 different teasers for different songs. And they're all just phenomenal. And I just can't wait. Well, we've already gotten into the music cast, but can't wait for that album. Can't wait for that music. It's all good shit.
Yeah, that'll be good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them, and some that do play video games, that's cool content as well. I mean, a buddy of mine has just started. He hasn't been, I think his last stream that he needs to get affiliated will be tomorrow. But I had Derek do all of his graphics and stuff, and he actually, ironically, moved basically right down the street from me. But he's in a bigger band. And he's getting into it, but he's more like the just like playing and recording and like, talking about the studio process and things like that. And then, I have a friend, Ryan, who's in a larger metal band, probably about Dustin's size, that he does kind of jack of all everything. So he'll play one day, he'll play COD one day. So it's been interesting to watch them come out of their normal shell and play for a screen, essentially.
And it's also funny too, because I feel like that's a perfect not a segue, because obviously it's not a conversation, but it's a perfect parlay from what they're doing, because they already have this following, whether it be through music or whatever. And then they get a big social media following. So when they start streaming, it's kind of like this natural fit for, oh, I've been following them for years. Like, let me just check out, if they're going to play video games, if they're going to stream the studio process or whatever. It's just that natural progression.
Yeah.
Speaking of natural progressions into social media, you see what I did there?
I love that.
So the three of us, we all use Instagram for different purposes or stuff. I kind of chuckle because Eric's profile picture here on Discord is his car, which is primarily
pretty much my only reason for Instagram.
he's all about that car life and all of the nice additions that he adds to it. But it's funny because we all use it for different things. I have a personal photography Instagram that I do for different photo shoots and stuff that I go on throughout the year or have done over the years. And then I also have one for the channel that's kind of like, I guess it's like dead at this point because I haven't posted on it in 7 months now. But it can always come back. It can always make a return. It's there.
Always come back.
And then, Bill, I know you kind of do like a hybrid. I've seen you post everything from just random outing adventures and stuff to pictures of your food that you're eating.
Yeah, I haven't posted on Discord, Instagram in a long time. And sometimes I just don't like I'll have an idea and then sometimes I just don't, and it'll go like 6 months before I post something.
Well, you utilize the story feature for your streams and stuff, like just to get people noticed and stuff like that. But the reason why I bring up Instagram is because, and obviously I'm sure you guys have dealt with this over the years too. I received probably one of the most random but funny messages I've ever received on Instagram. It was from somebody I don't know. So it goes through that whole thing. For those of you that don't use Instagram, you can either accept or refuse a conversation from somebody that's coming to you that you may not know, or it may be spam or whatever. And I get shit all the time from, profiles, like it's just profiles that are trying to like goat men into like giving money to women. So whether it be like, hey, come watch me, stream on OnlyFans or whatever, or come do this, or hey, or whatever. But this one, I had to make note of it because it genuinely made me laugh out loud. It was from this one lady. I don't remember the name of the profile. I'll have to see if I can pull it up in the midst of this conversation while I'm telling the story. But
yeah, give her a shout out.
Well, yeah, I could. I guess I could. It's not going to hurt anybody.
What up, girl?
But it was funny because her profile picture. Oh no, it's gone. Shit. Her profile picture was of like this woman in like a tight leather outfit.
Love that.
And she was in like the Captain Morgan pose, like where she has one leg extended. Yeah, the step up, and one leg is up, like she's got like her knee bent, and she's got like her hair in Bill, you're gonna have no idea who I'm talking about, but Eric, you may know. Do you know the wrestler Erick, Bianca Belair?
Is that the girl with the real, like the 6 foot long hair?
Yes. She's basically got like a top ponytail, like it comes out of the top of her head. And I shit you not, Bill, it goes from the top of her head all the way down to like her calf muscles.
Oh my.
She has some of the, and like she actually incorporates it into her matches. Like she uses it as like a whip sometimes. It's really, really cool. But anyway, I got a message from this Bianca Belair lookalike in this dominatrix style outfit. And she just sends me not hey, not hello, not subscribe to my OnlyFans or whatever. She just sends me, are you submissive? I'm looking for a new slave. And I'm like, what?
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm like, what are you on about? Like, I respect the ballsy introduction. Like that's essentially like shooting your shot. Like if you're at a party or at a bar or something, walking up to somebody being like, hey, I'm interested in you. Like, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Like, do you want to go out on a date, or can I buy you a drink or something like that?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a little bit more forward. That's just like, hey, want to be my sex slave or something like that?
This is just a random stranger asking me, will I be their submissive? And I mean, I'm not going to lie. Part of me was flattered. Like, I was like, wow, thank you. Thank you for the consideration. And then part of me was just like, Jesus, man, like this is a little forward for my taste, which it'll make more sense for a story another day. What will probably be the first official episode if we can get all the stuff tied together. But yeah, it just struck me as so funny because, I expect random messages from time to time. Like I said, I've gotten a ton of random stuff from YouTube over the years. You guys have seen just existing on the internet and in your own creative endeavors and stuff. I'm sure you've probably seen some weird and wild messages and stuff. The other reason why I bring that up is because Bill, you had mentioned, I saw it on Twitter because you and I follow each other on Twitter. The other day you were talking with somebody, or no, you had made a post. Sorry, you weren't talking with somebody. You had said like you had these crazy flat earthers on your Instagram timeline. And I was like, you got to save it for the cast, man. So I thought, got to bring it up for this pilot episode.
I don't know. And I can't mention any names because he's actually in a social circle that I'm in with some people we've already talked about.
Oh, okay.
And like, it's just really odd. Like the guy, I met him initially because he was a part of this touring team. And he was just kind of like a secondary merch guy that would help. If they did like a Warped Tour, like a festival type run, where you have like a bigger setup, so you need some additional hands. He was kind of that kind of guy, but like really intelligent dude, really kind of like salt of the earth guy. He's always hiking. I think he cuts down trees or something for a living. Super earthy dude. But like one day I was just like passing through the stories on Instagram, and he's always doing some kind of math, you know, and taking a picture of it. A lot of like scribbled numbers, and like eventually, the more that I kept seeing, it was like basically the same post, but like it would be different, but on a different day,
different numbers.
And it started to like. Yeah, it started to become like a little bit of like a Beautiful Mind type situation where there's just like pencil shavings and, you know, all these different scribbled numbers. And then like he'd start to include like you're being lied to. Heliocentrism is a cult, you know.
Are these like his calculations?
Yeah, like he's running numbers like actively.
He himself, like he's not plagiarizing these numbers.
No, he's doing the math.
Wow.
And so I started to look into it, and I was like, "Is this guy a flat earther?" Because like I wasn't like sure what he was getting at because it's all very vague. And then I reached out to the one friend of mine who is very close to me, who that's the circle that he's in. I was like, hey, hope your day's going well. Real quick, is so-and-so a flat earther? And I was like, I forget what I even said. I was like, yo, this dude, let's just call him Mark. I was like, yo, Mark's kind of wild on Instagram, huh? Just like, and then my friend texted me back. He goes, yeah, he thinks the earth's flat. And I was like, wait. So like now I'm invested. Yeah, it's kind of like the scene of a crash. Like I know I can't keep looking at it, but I can't stop.
Yeah, you got to look now.
And the one reoccurring thing is there's always some kind of calculation or numbers or like, and it's not like one like long division equation. There's like parentheses. You got to use PEMDAS to solve
long division,
dude. Like it's involved. There's always numbers being done. There's always some like exit message like that, you know, you're being lied to. Heliocentrism is a lie. You know, you only believe it because you were told that the earth was round. And this kind of ties into something he's starting to get into now, which I'm especially excited for. I kind of think of it as like the second season.
Ooh.
It's more now he's getting into like the moon landing was fake, you know, all your typical conspiracy stuff. But like, I am fascinated by what's happening. And, you know, I was drunk the other night and I was reading some of them and I was like, you know, if this turns out to be true, this guy's going to win the Pulitzer. I mean, they're going to give this man a prize. And I've been talking shit.
He's going to solve it.
Yeah.
He's putting his equations out on the internet for everyone to see, but lo and behold, he's the one that's going to solve it.
Exactly. And
do you know who's most proud of this dude?
Talk to me.
His old school math teachers that would always be like, show your work on this test. He's showing it for the whole world to see. Well, so not world, flat, whatever they call like flat plane, because they can't call it the world because doesn't world
they call it a plane.
Plane. Yeah.
And another thing I
plane
knew,
to see.
There was something that this is when I knew that this dude was off his fucking tree. There's some like guy that he's always with, and I get the vibe that it's kind of similar to, if you want to go up in those mountains, you got to go see like this guy. Or it's similar to Jaws where, you know, they had to go advocate and go see that Richard, I forget what his name is, but you know, the guy who had caught a big shark like that. And if you were going to go out, you had to go talk to him. He kind of goes up to this guy, and the guy always has kind of like a staff, like a Gandalf, like large stick type situation. He's got this really long hair. You know, he's always wearing sunglasses, very guarded. And there's always clips of him on this Instagram of the guy, you know, talking about how Earth is not a sphere. And it's, you know, if you test it out with this certain water drip and you can figure out what the curvature of the Earth is. And then if you look at a lake or something, you know, no matter how big the body of the water, there should be some degree of curvature. And dude, it's wild stuff. The other day I woke up and that's the first thing that I saw when I opened my phone. I was like, I can't go to work after this. I was just like, oh, great. So-and-so is a member of the Flat Earth Society. There's something to kick off my day.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, no.
Off cast. You'll have to send me the link just so I can, you know, check out some of these posts or whatever. Because I said, I'm not trying to, you know, embarrass anybody. I always just find I love having debates.
I'm embarrassed. I'm upset.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like if you got to plant your flag in something, that's a weird thing to plant your flag in.
It's a strange take.
But yeah, I guess because we're quickly approaching definitely like a time limit for the first pilot episode. So I had one more thing I wanted to talk about in particular, and it's not something that would be a perfect segue, which I'm kind of disappointed about, because there was one point you made a chopping tree comment, Bill. That would have been the perfect segue point to go from, but sadly we will have to forego that.
Okay.
The last thing that I wanted to talk about for this pilot episode was Eric, you and I went to a live event back pre-pandemic when the world was fine and dandy to be out in public and stuff. You and I went to a WWE house show at the Times Union Center in Albany, New York. And there was something there that happened which it blew my mind just because of the series of events that have happened. And it kind of, I guess that kind of parlays into what we've been talking about, like with social media and followings and recognizing people and stuff. But we were at this show and we had to get in line and stuff. And we parked in like a parking garage down the street from the Times Union Center. And we walked there and there were these huge lines to get in. Didn't see anybody that we knew or whatever. But eventually we get inside, we get our tickets situated and we find our seats. And when we find our seats, we're kind of just chilling there. We have fairly decent seats. Like we're not anywhere close to the ring, but we're not up in like the nosebleed section or whatever. And luckily we were sitting up just in front of like where the lower skyboxes are. So we didn't have anybody to sit behind us. So we were, essentially like we just had people in front of us. And eventually the people who were sitting in front of us make their way to their seats. And it's this woman and these two kids. And one of them is really tiny. Like one of them is probably like a 3 or a 4-year-old. And the other one is probably like, I don't know, maybe 7 to 9 years old, somewhere in that range. And we're watching the show and Eric and I are just hooting and hollering. We're having a great time. We were complimented by how lively we were being like in the audience. Like people were like, hey, the show is great. You guys made it even better. Like we were just chanting and shouting out for these different wrestlers and stuff. And at one point when I was talking, I said something and we sat back down. I think it was like in between matches or something, or I think that there was like a short intermission or something like that. And the kid turns around and he's looking at me like this 7 to 9 year old. And he's like, he's just looking at me he's just so perplexed, like kind of with that look of, I know you from somewhere, but I don't know where I know you, which is weird because that's not a look that a lot of 7 to 9 year olds have. Their brain is all Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol and, how much candy can I eat before I throw up? That sort of deal. But this kid looks at me and he without missing a beat, he just goes, hey, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And he's like, do you have a YouTube channel? Wow. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, actually I do. And he's like,
what's it do?
Yeah. He's like, I thought I recognized you or your voice or something. And I'm like, yeah, I've had a YouTube channel. He goes, what's your channel name? And I'm like, it's Enigma. I'm like, it's pretty complicated. So I'm like, I'll just call it Enigma. He goes, well, what are some of the videos you made? So I'm telling him some of the videos and stuff that are kind of popular. Cause I don't know anything about this kid. I don't know what part of social circles he's involved in or whatever, or how he would know. So he just looks at me and he goes, do you make bottle flip videos?
Oh my God.
This was a few years ago now. I'd have to think. I think it was like either December of 16 or December of 2017. Eric, do you remember off the top of your head?
Cool.
Okay. So
I think it's muted.
It's perfect because I always love working one of those into the podcast. But
my head would be spinning if that happened to me.
No, so I'm going to sound way different now. I have been listening to all of this, and yes, that was a crazy experience with that kid. I don't know, just something weird happened with my mic, so yeah, I haven't been saying anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I got your volume all readjusted, so you're good now. But yeah, so I have no idea like what video this kid saw me with or whatever. But then he asked me like, do you make bottle flip videos? And I guess they were all the rage back a few years ago or whatever. But then by the end of the conversation, like after talking with it, the mom thought she knew me too. Well, I don't know if it was mom or grandma. Uh-oh. I'm not sure what type of, but she was like, oh yeah, like I think I might have seen like one of your videos too. So then the kid asked for my like channel handle, like my channel tag or whatever you want to call it. So I gave it to him, and I don't know if he's still subscribed to this day or whatever, but it was so weird like in a random space with random people that I will probably never meet again in my life, I was recognized for something that I actually do for something that I've never done in my life. Like, I don't think I've ever flipped a bottle on camera ever, nor do I think I probably ever will. But it was just an absolute oddity. I can't even believe that was a thing.
Yeah, that would have melted my brain.
We had a really good time at that show. That was a great live event.
It was, yeah, it was a good time.
There was a cage. Yeah, there was a cage match.
Unexpected cage match. I didn't expect that.
And then there was probably the highlight of us just shouting from the crowd was there was this one wrestler. She's still in WWE today, but her name is Nia Jax. And her big slogan back in the day was I'm not like most girls, or she's not like most girls. I think that's how her theme song went. Like whenever she would go down to the ring, that's what would play. So in the middle of her match, I believe she was in a friendship with Alexa Bliss, another wrestler at the time. And they were tag teaming against, oh no, maybe it wasn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been Alexa teaming with Mickey and Asuka teaming with Nia. I'm not sure. That won't mean anything to Billy or probably the majority of the audience.
Yeah, they're just names.
But in the middle of the match, when she was doing one of her maneuvers and she like was beating somebody up or whatever, I shout out of the top of my lungs. I just go, she's not like most girls. And there was one guy in the audience from super far away. I don't know if he was on the other side of the arena or if he was down in front of us. He just goes, ha, 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 ha.
Guy really enjoyed himself.
Yeah, he loved the joke. I just don't understand, if she heard it or if anybody else cared, but at least that one guy cared. And there was another spot. John Cena was wrestling at the show. Obviously, people probably know who he is. But somebody said something like, oh, no, maybe he was. I don't know if he was wrestling Roman Reigns, who's one of Erick's favorite superstars. But it was something to the effect of like, oh, you got to beat him up or something like that. And I'm like, that's why he wrestles in jorts. He needs that movement, which, of course, Bill, you'll appreciate because you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right. Look how
wide Dennis has. Yeah, he has his cutoff shorts where he can just.
I can go wider. I can go lower.
Now, I could get a lower base right now. Yeah, I feel like that's a natural segue point for the ending of the pilot episode. I feel like we got some really good content there.
Love it. Yeah, I thought that went pretty well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Erick, what are you talking on now? Your mic sounds really good.
I'm just talking through my phone. I don't know. It's the past like 10 minutes or something. I don't know. My connection had got pretty shitty. Like you guys got pretty robotic at one point.
Oh no.
And then like I don't know. Maybe my headset just had like an auto off and it thought it wasn't being used. But yeah, I'm just talking through my phone.
Dude, it sounds really good.
It sounds
like
good.
That. It almost sounds slightly better because your phone microphone probably has noise canceling in it. So I think it might be a little bit better than what's in the headset. So yeah, you're good with that.
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
Anyway, pilot episode. We're working through technical difficulties, but that's the point. So yeah, I'd like to thank you both for being here. We've got I'll do the opposite since I did Bill first and then Erick. We'll do thank you, Erick, for being on the pilot episode of Save It for the Cast.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having.
Yeah, of course. And thank you, Billy, for being on the show as well.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And I also want to thank Erick for not looking up my address and coming to kick my ass after playing Killzone 2 with him. And then 10 years later on Fortnite.
Either way, thank you for listening. If you've managed to make it this far in the pilot episode of Save It for the Cast, you can expect more of all of this. We've got tons of stories. Each episode will kind of be a mini introduction into people, followed by listening to a general story, and then we'll kind of just spiral off into side conversations, and that'll be each and every episode. So yeah, that does it for the pilot. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you very, very soon for the first episode of Save It for the Cast. Have a good one.
The actual first episode.
The real one.
Oh.